Why did I even start to care about this kind of stuff? So my life journey was, I I was working at Credit Suisse, the investment bank, which no longer exists, and I hated every day of my life. I really did. It was the worst experience I've ever been through, which is saying something. And I would get up in the morning at 4 a.m. and I would commute in to, I believe that's Madison Square Park, Madison Square Park. And I would go to an Equinox there on 19th and Broadway. I was a member, and I would work out at 5 a.m. So I'd get there right when the staff got there. Until about 6, I'd shower. I'd be at the desk by 6:30. And as I worked out, I could just feel the anxiety and the dislike and awfulness just increase until I was at that desk, and then I would leave who knows when. Maybe I'm lucky and it's a 7 or 8 o'clock, I get to leave. Maybe I'm unlucky and as I stay overnight. I did that for not very long. And but because I did that, I learned some things about myself, and perhaps the best thing you can learn in a situation like that is what you really don't like. Because then, once you sort of understand it, if you really understand it, you don't have to do it again, right? You can find something else where you might like it, so it's different. Or if you know some things you like, you gravitate more towards that. I took a month off, I traveled, I saw family, I saw friends, and on a lark, I used this crazy thing called Craigslist to apply for a personal trainer job at Equinox, where I used to be a member, where I was a member. I canceled my membership by then. Because my thought process was, I'm going to go applying for jobs. I need a gym to go to, and I would, the way this works, usually it's kind of like a part-time job when you start as a personal trainer. It's certainly not 80-hour weeks like working in an investment bank. So I did. I interviewed. I was accepted. I ended up doing some internships that summer. I'd applied for some other jobs in consulting where I worked before finance. And at the end of the summer, in late August, early September, I sort of realized that the people I talked to, I learned so much from the other trainers and some members who were very knowledgeable that blew my mind. I came from a pretty narrow background. I'd played a handful of different sports when I was young, kind of got narrowed down to a few when I was in the college, late high school, college years. And the only types of sort of training using a gym I'd ever been exposed to was what I later learned, very basic stuff built off of bodybuilding and some low-level early days of physical therapy. And that's kind of the world that it was. But it wasn't, say, what a professional athlete would do in their off season. It wasn't, let's say, what high-end college, collegiate programs would do in order to balance out some things with their athletes, right? Maybe your athlete is fast, but he's at risk of injury. I had no idea of these worlds, despite I actually had a college basketball off-season training program when I was 19. Yeah, I was 19. So it blew my mind. I decided I wanted to stay and try to make a go of this and learn more. And so one of the things I learned in those early days working for Equinox was about heart rates and their relationship with metabolism. And that matters because depending upon what your goal is, whether you're an athlete, a weekend athlete, or you don't care about athletics at all, you just care about trying to stay healthy, maybe look good, it impacts how you might want to think about what to do for your weeks and your months. Okay?